Aliyah Twilight Allah Era Mana Soviet Baju Clock Dugmad Greatborn Shanti Tranquility Whom Opening a Formula a Luke all 6 times the Hook you and okay inimitable symphony secret word ek one you know akshar oz tuts animal plant strong. We begin here today the comment on Loving as God Loves, A Secret to Spiritual Living, the 2024 ECK Worldwide Soul Adventure Seminar, with an introduction. And introductions to faith are important. The first video, what the path of ECK is all about. And I say, it is best to love all as part of loving God and yourself. Everyone has their own life to live, and even universal terms will be according to that. And one of the things about what we started with is these are words representing the material world and the successively higher heavens above that. Now, some will say that these heavens are only psychological, but certainly they are put in a spiritual context in which you connect to the spiritual by these references. What they are actually themselves, leave it up to you. So for Friday, the pre-program music was performed by Ed Bloom. It starts off as some Native American sort of thing and makes its way to a Renaissance journey. Events are uncertain, and we make our way through. Friday evening introduction. Hissei Wis Willow, or is it Wis Willow Saya? I think it's one of those names that you have the last name first in that culture. Aligning with the beliefs and practices that divinity prescribes is key to life. Different opinions doesn't have to mean different truths. Detachment, Divine Love, and a Miracle with Julie Frost. Parents need to allow their children to have their own personalities. Altruism can be the truer way to gain. New book spotlight, The Joy of Living with Lawrence Cruz. Humans are hasty creatures till they practice the presence of God. True theology will not be invented. The Many Ways of Learning to Love as God Loves. Eli Akpan, Emma Akpan, and hope, Okoro, ritual opens one up to doing things for oneself in those areas and more. Few words can justify violence. We must study to give better answers. Spiritual consciousness may make the ignored details familiar. El Mahanta siempre lo ama a usted, composed by George Rivera Diaz and performed by Alejandro Prieto and group. Someone tries to tell you a story you may not be so convinced of, but you are not at work and you are giving his story time. Dreams, roadmaps for life's journey. Daniel Reynaud. All experiences are a type of reality. Dreams process our outer lives and show possibilities of the future, our understandings of events. So much is already there, but needs to be realized. Spiritual survival skills to the rescue with Beverly and Gary Foster. It is essential that we figure out our spiritual place while we can. Then our path continues regardless of our material position. And then we move on to that which regards Saturday. Pre-program music performed by Jay Ingram and John Villamont. It's the late night show, and there is a special message about what is missing for you. Saturday evening introduction, Nancy Shupwu. We could all use some help deciding, but we should distinguish between our own answers and those of specific guidance. It is about how we can love through those decisions. Song of Hugh, composed by Larry Azucago, performed by Larry Azucago and friends. One never knows the experience of something or how that will affect decisions till one tries. The ends of consciousness are key times for spiritual practices. Everything as it should be with Kendall and Scott Wetzel. Some people will get the signs they need, but will they act on them? Well, some people get the signs specifically to them. Others have to get it secondhand, don't they? Some will find the guidance they need from who seems ordinary or through the disruptions in their plans. We are the children of the light and sound, dance by ECK and song by Annie Tohill. It is good to make the music you are exposed to that of your religion. I am not sure if the children are supposed to be plants, sky, or practicing for some type of wedding. I mean, the way it's presented. It seems like a Jewish wedding in some ways. It seems like some sort of seasonal drama in other ways. And there is the type of children that represents a becoming or otherwise embodying. And good karma, bad karma, beyond karma. We're getting into the side programs here. We can trace our sense of identity beyond our memory. Ethics are not morals. Everyone judges constantly. Love is karma. Karma is a moral. One thing that limits Eckankar is the idea of addressing the idea of a spiritual master, or God's official way shower. Lucifer would be the translation of that in a way. Lightbringer would be more direct translation of Lucifer. And Harold Klemp calls himself a lightbringer, by the way, as an intercessory deity that you invoke in presence. Well, you can at least bring about the idea of an image. But you can picture things and move them about and switch the colors and stuff like this with practice anyways. Organizing one's tastes and curiosities can aid in having experiences. Now, initially, the advice at the end of the program was something that they reserved for members. Like, I think even like you had to be a second initiate to attend the meeting where they went over this line of questioning yourself. What do you say when your child remembers a past life? People's feelings and conclusions might be responses to reality, but truth is not just a personal opinion. People need to support people, but that is not the same as confirming every strange claim your family makes. I have never encountered reference to a trait that required a past life to explain. Now, it used to be the only thing that was available if you didn't attend the seminars was the main talk, and then it became available online for a fee, and then buying the DVD was cheaper than that, but people wanted to have it right away, to have their guidance right away. They wanted to be able to talk it in the group right away, and it meant that somebody who was the local leader paid for the program, and then they got to show it in the group too. The Mahanta, the living Ekmaster, Sri Harold Klemp, with the title of the talk being Spiritual Stories We Tell. Life is about what is to come, and not suffering about what was. Even when consequences of bad decisions come, one can always not make things worse. Familial references can bring unique insights. Spiritual sharing is to be done without expectation of earthly reward. It is said that 2006 was when Harold Klemp started with assisted living. If one is doing his best with his human vessel, then we should not criticize the limits of mind and body. Many don't know about psychiatric and spiritual experience types, particularly those ancient alien theorists, as they're called, because they don't know enough of the teachings of their own faiths. We should be willing to share regardless of the level of attention. And there's some side programs. How does God answer our questions? Children are less held back in their curiosity. Adolescents can build on that sense of change and awareness through magic. And by magic, I don't mean the derogatory or even moral definitions of what that might be. I mean willful changes of consciousness, the art and science of religion, whatever your opinion of religion is. And there's a children's section to continue with how does God answer our questions, because I watched that video a couple times. People can say that children will be more direct with their perception. The questions of the youth become that of the elders, and vice versa. I am soul, even if one will never be in the presence. A true spiritual master is a sort of friend to those who believe in him, are those who take some of his advice, right? One's own identity and development in terms of actions and mentality is the critical lesson. It comes in waves. Since this was innocent, then this song about a fisherman finding a wife could be marketed as a children's song about golden-tongued wisdom when I was big. Translated into our own cultural terms, what we could be is thought of in terms of what we could have been. Living in the here and now, I wonder if there is a group for all 3 levels of the children's and 17 of the main adult program. At least at one point, there were 3 children's levels of Eckankar discourses. Much more than hope and fear, life is about the present thoughts, words, and deeds. It seems Eckankar musicians are only of a few types, but this is a good lounge act. Thoughts, words, and deeds. Yeah, this was by far the best Eckankar sound that I have ever encountered, performance and otherwise. Journey of soul. Darkness and light interact upon the blank slate. Either the 5 false egos are established, or mantras and rituals build our character. If we work on ourselves, then we can become of the company of previously unseen beings. Following a way shower, we are then taken to dwell in God and beyond the field. Is it willingly? Now, you had one side that was all dressed in white. You had a little girl with a shield that said Hugh and a blue sword, and that represents what you think it represents, right? And you had jargon names on that side, less jargon names on the colored side. You know, you had a black figure, Cal, and Cal was you had the false egos, or the 5 vices. And so the white side was the 5 virtues in the main character. And then the other things come in. And you're supposed to recognize by their costumes which spiritual master they're supposed to represent. And they take her off the stage. Well, I mean, she's led off the stage. There's a procession, and maybe don't want to go into too much detail with that, but just sing Hugh. Many voices unite with their different intentions. A person could call religion the universal love. Why not try spiritual practices? And one of the things that we might close with, so there are sounds starting with the world, which has the sound of thunder. Then you go to the first heaven, and then beyond, roar of the sea, tinkling bells, running water, buzzing bees, single note of flute, wind, humming sound, thousand violins, music of woodwinds. The whirlpool, the inimitable symphony. Then there's a word, and then there's the earthquake, and then there's either profound silence or there's some sort of message for you. And as you've noticed, things are kind of oddly colored as rainbow, and some of the color has been taken off of this, and I don't know how that happened. And my way, my word is Vana, and my secret name is Ginari Boer Chokcom, and you will have your own, so use your own.